Okay, so this video is about Konar, but the background is going to be me trying to do a farming contract. I've never done it, but apparently you need to kill this thing that has Spory to get the last music track that I'm missing. I'm missing two, but the other one's from the dungeon anyways. I can just go get that real quick. Um, and the seed's untradeable, I think, so I'm just going to go try to get that. I don't even know what I need. I'm just going to kind of go there and see what's going on. Anyways, though, this is about the recent, I guess, issue, or is what I call it. Do I call it an issue? The thing people are talking about the most right now, which is Konar and the drop table, and how to go about changing it. So a lot of people have an issue with the herb drop, and I guess people were really complaining about the 2500 brew drop. That was really dumb. I think that might have been an oversight. I don't actually know who at Jagex thought of it. It was a really, really dumb idea. Main reason for that, in my opinion, is Iron Man. And I know the game shouldn't be catered to Iron Men, positive or negative, but imagine you're a level 80 Iron Man, you get a task, you kill one thing, and then you get 2,500 brews, and you're a level 80 Iron Man with 2,500 brews. That feels a little weird. And somebody in my stream actually said to me, "This update doesn't feel like old school." And at first, I just glanced over that. I was like, "Oh, this person doesn't like updates, whatever." I didn't know about the 2,500 brew drop at the time, but after hearing that, it kind of echoed in my head for a while, and I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, this doesn't really feel like old school. It doesn't feel like something. It feels like It feels almost like spins. It feels like I'm just rolling, and randomly I'll get 2,500 brews, or I won't, right? And the game is all about RNG. That's true when it comes to PvP and PvM, but I'd say it's way less of a thing in skilling. There is some variance. It's small variance though. You know, two people go and do an efficient fishing hour. Their XP difference isn't going to be that big. Obviously, there will be there'll be that hour where somebody gets crazy XP, and there'll be that hour where somebody gets, really bad XP. But it's not going to be that different. Even that small, very bad or very good difference is about like a maybe 4 or 5% at most, right? Thinking about these giant drops, 2,500 brews, 200 of a herb, and all that, there's so much more variance brought into that. And these are skilling resources. So somebody does, two level 80 Iron Men go from 80 to 100 combat through Konar. One walks out with 5,000 Renars. One walks out with 200 Renars. That doesn't feel right. I think the issue, not only the fact that you can get brews, or the 2,500 brews, let's ignore that. Let's not talk about that anymore for the rest of this video. But just ignoring that, I think the issue is that the drops are so large and so rare. And that's good in PvM, but I don't think it's good when it comes to skilling supplies and resources. I think that it should be smaller drops, maybe more frequent. So instead of giving 200 herbs on one drop, it should be something like, I don't know, maybe like 15 herbs, 20 herbs, and make it a little more common. If it was 15 to 20, but it was 5 times more common, because right now is a weighting of one, that would actually be about half of the current herbs. But in about a million Slayer XP or from 80 to 100 combat, two people could probably expect similar results. It's not going to be so skewed. And that can apply to all the other drops that maybe people have problems with. I'm not 100% sure on the values of everything. I know there's going to be, I'll put a thing up on the screen right now. There was a post of the original drops. I think if it was just more common, but less of the amount that's given, that would probably be the best solution. And I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are on Konar, and I think that's the best way to go about it. They went with a very hard nerf today, which kind of made people stop doing Konar altogether. Mains, Ironmen, anybody trying out the content, a lot of them don't want to do it anymore because it was such a big nerf. And I don't think that the issue was how much you get; it was how much you get in one drop. I think that the variance is just way too high. You're going to see that one guy getting a ton of stuff and the other guy getting basically nothing, because of just it all coming from one drop, right? So just make it more common. Just make it less of the amount you get per drop, and that would be, in my opinion, the best way to go about fixing Konar and the drop table. Now, what are my thoughts on the overall update of Kebos Lowlands, the addition of it? I think the diary was really good. I got the whole diary done in a couple hours, I think it was. It could have been quicker, but I had to do a couple quests, and I did have to wait for my patch to grow, but I grew it right away, so I got that done, and I thought it was a pretty good diary overall. Seemed kind of low on the overall requirements, especially considering there's so many things on Zaya that you can have a higher comp or higher requirement for, such as soul rune crafting. But maybe people thought maybe the reward doesn't match the requirement, so 90 rune crafting isn't that great of a reward for a teleport and a +1 prey bonus for your ammo slot, right? Maybe that's not what we should have, or what should be the requirement for the diary. The update overall, though, again, the diaries are great. I liked it. Fun diary to do. I like the blessing. It's a great reward. The teleport straight to the basically the Slayer Master and the dungeon. Kind of like Karamja Gloves, how it's the teleport to Duradel. This is the equivalent of that for Konar. So if you do plan to do a lot of Konar Slayer, probably should get that done, just so you can get there quicker. And also if you do a lot of Hydra or anything in that area. I do like that they added a new 3 iron spot. It's good for people who have the knowledge of that spot, who are trying to get their mining up pretty quickly and aren't doing what's it called, monthly load or anything like that. The farming guild here I think is pretty great. I think the farming guild was a great update. I have 200 mil farming, so unfortunately I don't really have much to obtain from it. I'll go see this guy's golden tench. He got one from the fishing. But this looks like a great hotspot. I think a lot of people are gonna like this. There's multiple banks, or like there's a bank chest, bank booth, and there's a few new patches, which is pretty cool. It's cool that those exist. This looks like a fun update. I don't know how the things that protect your herbs and or patches will affect the game long term, but I think nobody's against the farming guild. The fishing and hunter, I think it was apparently a little bit more XP than was led on. That may get rebalanced, but I also think it was also more effort than was led on. If you want to see a little bit of that, my friend Thurko made a guide on how to do it, although they may change the XP rates. Right now, it is pretty good to do. It is very click intensive, though, and that's how you obtain this fish, which the guy's holding. It's untradeable. You have to catch those fish to obtain it. And what else came from here? I think the Tassa Call. I thought there was something you fight. Maybe there is, and I've missed it. But I swear the Tassa Call was supposed to be like a thing you can kill like new Tazar monsters at. Obviously, Mount Korom, which is where the Hydras are and Konar is where those Tassa Calls were meant to be. I was under the impression, maybe I read it wrong, but I was under the impression that they were supposed to be like a NPC you can fight. But all I've seen is the 3 things that sit around on the chair. Maybe there is a thing you can fight, or maybe I read the dev blog wrong. But let's go look at that real quick. And I just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something you can fight. Oh wow, it's the first time I had the teleport right next to it. I usually get the teleport over there. But yeah, this blessing is so nice. Yeah, these guys right here. These are the Tassa Call, Kaal, and they look like the Zars, but they're obviously not the same exact thing. And there's a whole dialogue and story and lore to it. But I think this dungeon was a great update. I don't actually know if there's things you can fight yet. Maybe that's coming in a later update. Or if there is something you can fight, somebody let me know in the comments. And then there was another thing that came in from this. What was it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, the Shaman Cave. The new Shaman Cave. I went there once for the diary. They look pretty cool. I'm sure that people who hunt the Dragon Warhammer are happy with more places to kill shamans, as it seems like that's always an issue with overcrowding. I'm not sure what the reason for overcrowding is. It could be just lots of Iron Men. It could be there's some kind of bots. I don't actually know why it's overpacked or overcrowded, but a new place to do stuff is always cool. I guess I only briefly talked about the fishing. And what else is in this area? There's not much else. I think there's a couple shops, but I think the main updates were the farming guild, the fishing, the new shaman place, and then also the new Slayer stuff with Konar and all that. I don't think people are too upset with the update. I think overall the update was really good. Hydra. I didn't actually talk about Hydra. I mentioned Hydra, but I didn't really talk about it. I think Hydra was an amazing update. I think that in my opinion, the alchemy drops are a little much. I think that the alchemy drop should have maybe slightly less or be slightly less frequent. Maybe replace it with something else. But the raw GP from there is crazy. In fact, I can show you how many I've done today. I did 220 today, and I got about 23 mil in loot, and that does not include The Hydra Bones, those are counted as 0 GP. And it doesn't include the eye, which is 1/3 of a ring. And the ring's about 8 mil right now. So maybe another couple mil on there. It's a little bit over 100K a kill, maybe 100 to 120K. Probably a little over 100K and then plus uniques. We don't know the unique rate, so we don't know the value that they would be included in for GP per hour. But definitely over 2 mil an hour. I was going to think about 20 to 25 per hour while streaming today. And I think I was averaging about 26 an hour for the first few hours. And that includes deaths and using the bathroom and getting up and all that. So pretty good in terms of kills per hour, money per hour, and the drops seem all right. The pet looks amazing. The mechanics, people are really against the fact that it's twisted bow and blowpipe meta. I don't really mind that. I do wish it had a magic or melee element to it. Melee is good against the boss, but you can't use it because you have to lure the boss, and the boss is a 5 square attack range, so it won't go any closer than 5 squares. Meaning you have to be far away from it, meaning you have to range your mage. Its defenses are so low that range ends up being good, and I think its mage level is pretty high, which is a factor in its mage defense, making the twisted bow both good and magic bad. So I understand that. Maybe if they were able to change the defensive stats of some of the phases to make magic useful there, that might be a fun thing to do. But overall, I actually really like the mechanics of the boss. It's fun that you have to lure it onto the spots, and then you have to basically keep track, counting in threes of the prayer switches until the final one. We have to keep track of it every switch. And if you make a mistake, you take like a 50 to the face. I love that. I think it's a really cool boss. Pretty hyped over that. And I haven't done a farming contract yet, but people seem to like it, which also ties into the farming guild. I think it's a cool introduction. Somebody said that it's kind of like what Artisan would have been. They're probably not wrong. I don't think that this fits well into other things that aren't farming. Maybe a couple things, but I can't really picture somebody telling me to go catch some red chinchompas as a task, like for Artisan. I think it works well with farming because farming takes time for things to grow, where other skills are very active. Farming is more of a passive skill. So other skills that are active, you can't really tell them to go do something and then go back to it and then go do something again and go back to it. It just doesn't fit well, in my opinion. But the contracts themselves, they fit very well in farming. And I'm excited to see how my contract goes. I haven't actually completed one. I've just been sitting here talking to you guys for a few minutes. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the overall update of Kebos and opinions on Konar and the drop table. Again, my opinion, if you zoned out, is that the drop value was fine, especially since you have to do this master to get those, which is less XP than the best XP. The amounts you get per drop were a little too high because accounting for variance, 2 different people can do the same amount of Slay XP at the same level and end up with completely different results. I think you should lower that variance by adding in more frequent drops, but just less of the amount that you get when you get a drop. Instead of 100 to 200 herbs, make it 10 to 20 or 15 to 20, whatever it is. Make it less of them, but more frequent so that it balances out over a longer period of time. If you have a different opinion or a different solution to all the outcry on Reddit and Twitter, please let me know in the comments, share it. And if you aren't subscribed, about 70% of the people who watch me aren't subscribed. You might have forgot to press that button. This might be your first time ever here. Whatever it is, hit that sub button if you want or don't. And yeah, have a good day, guys. Take care.